Greetings, Justicers. It's Saturday, and other than being the sequel to a song by Rebecca Black, that means that it's time for me to review an episode of an animated series. Today, I talk about the Season 1 episode of Young Justice titled Infiltrator. As I've said before, I'm not really a big fan of this series. I actually really hated it at first, and then it got less crappy in the episode Drop Zone. From that point on, I thought the series was picking up. But ever since Drop Zone, each time I watch this series, I find myself asking why I am watching this show. It's no secret that I would have dropped this series long ago if I wasn't reviewing it on this channel. And once again, I'm considering how long I need to keep going before I drop this series. For anyone who loves this show and defends it as being the best cartoon in existence or something, I'm not dissing the fans of this show, meaning you. I think it's fine if other people like this show, but this is most definitely not for me. And for all of the reasons that I can think of that people might like this show, I can safely say that those reasons are crap, at least for me. And I can think of better shows, even better cartoons, to do the things that this show does in a more compelling way. If it's the long-form story arcs that spread out across multiple episodes, I could point you toward Justice League Unlimited or Avatar: The Last Airbender, both of which I can safely say blowed Young Justice out of the water very hard. And if it's the characters you like, well, I'm not really sure why anyone would like these characters. I mentioned this before, but Superboy is a whiny, angsty jerkhole who has rage issues. Pro tip, that does not make me want to watch more episodes with this guy. As we see in this episode, Kid Flash is a womanizing hypocrite who has absolutely no depth beyond this single attribute of liking the ladies. I could easily keep going, but I actually did this exact same spiel in my review of the last episode, so I won't repeat it all here. And this episode adds a new character for me to hate. Artemis. Artemis is cocky, she's arrogant, she's the female equivalent of Kid Flash. Pro tip, if a dude does it and it's despicable, it's still despicable when a lady does it. And I guess this is really shallow of me, but she has a voice that makes me wish I was being boiled alive instead of listening to it. Something about the scratchiness of her voice really irritates me. This character is saddled with mysteries, which, it seems, for writers, that is shorthand for, oh, the audiences will eat this up. I guess the fact that Artemis has some link with the League of Shadows, as the assassin Cheshire told us, is supposed to make me interested enough to keep watching, except that when a show pulls this kind of stunt, it usually screams to me that the people behind the show are aware of just how bad their show is, so they are going all gimmicky to keep people from bailing out. When Artemis acts like she knows everything about the League of Shadows, and Kid Flash is screaming, "Who are you?" and she just shoots him that arrogant look that makes me want to punch my television screen, that to me is an indication that people behind this show don't really know what they're doing. Or maybe that's not fair. Maybe they do know. Just from watching this episode, if I had to guess, I'd say that Artemis at one time worked for the League of Shadows. That seems to be an educated guess, considering she recognizes Cheshire without her mask, and she has intel on the League, and she lets Cheshire go so that the Young Justice team won't find out about her past. Seems like a solid theory. Maybe it's misdirection, maybe not. I don't know. And okay, maybe the people behind this show do know what they're doing, and maybe they're just more competent than I'm giving them credit for. But regardless of what her secret backstory is, why do Green Arrow and Batman let her into this team no questions asked? It seems extraordinarily sketchy that they would want to do this. Where did she come from? Why are they putting her on this team? They don't even explain it, or if they do, the audience doesn't get to see the explanation. We should have some reason why this new girl is being thrust on this team in such a way. I guess I should go ahead and talk about the plot of this episode. We first get what I would call a pointless montage showing the entire team, minus Artemis, who we don't know about yet, and Kid Flash, who I'll get to in a minute, having fun at the beach. I'm actually shocked that Superboy isn't having uncontrolled fits of rage and tearing up the sidewalk or something. He's actually having fun with the team, which makes me think that this guy must be an imposter. But enough silliness from me. I guess I should be grateful that Superboy doesn't feature much in this episode. But anyway, apparently Wally couldn't go to the beach and have fun because he's having his first day of his sophomore year of high school. And it's a stereotypical day of high school that wouldn't actually exist in real life. But outside of that, why do none of the other kids in Young Justice have school? Okay, Martian Lady Hunter is from Mars, and although we have seen her change her shape to appear human before, we haven't seen any indication that she has a human identity like Robin or Kid Flash. So maybe she is homeschooled by the Martian Manhunter, or she just absorbs knowledge with her telepathy so she doesn't have to go to school. And Superboy, he's a clone, so I guess he doesn't have any records or anything, so he wouldn't be able to just show up anywhere and say, "Hey, can I come in and learn?" Although Batman should be able to fake some records and give Superboy a human identity like he did in the comics. But I guess the Justice League just doesn't care if he doesn't learn or advances his mind beyond being an emotionally stunted adolescent. And Aqualad, he's from Atlantis, and while I don't know much about him, it seems like he's a full-blown citizen of Atlantis and not a half-Atlantean, half-human who was born on the surface world or something like that. So I guess he's in the same boat that Superboy and Martian Lady Hunter are in. But why the heck isn't Robin in school? We found out in literally the previous episode that he does go to school, so he isn't homeschooled or anything like that. Why is he not in school? Why do we have this full minute of pointless scenes of the team having fun at the beach while Wally is not having fun at school? I get that Wally is not with the team so that he can find out with the rest of the audience that a new team member is joining the show. But couldn't we have had something else to prevent Wally from finding out with the rest of the team? Like, Flash needed him to help with something in Keystone City, and so he arrives a little late and he finds out along with us about Artemis. I don't know, this overly drawn out scene of the beach and school just isn't that funny, and the only purpose it is here isn't good enough of a reason for it to be here, in my opinion. Anyway, there's a scientist woman who is kidnapped by the League of Shadows and forced to build a deadly swarm of machines that disintegrate anything that they touch. But this annoying shrew of a woman insists that this is not a weapon, it's science. I am sure she said something else, but I stopped listening because, well, she's an annoying shrew of a woman. Red Arrow, the former sidekick of Green Arrow, rescues her, and then he comes to the Justice League and the Justice League Jr. and basically says, "Here, take care of this," and then he washes his hands of the whole matter. Wow, he's so dark and mysterious and angry and broody. Fans love that, right? Or he's arrogant and he's a jerk and he's got that whole bouts of uncontrolled rage thing that Superboy has. And for these reasons, I have no desire to see him on screen. I guess I should thank my lucky stars that this guy isn't a member of the team and is in every episode. And just how in the round world is this guy still operating as a superhero? In the first episode, when he left the team, I was 99% certain that he had left Green Arrow as well, and that is confirmed here. So where is he getting his arrows? It'd be one thing if it was normal arrows. They could say that Roy got a job at Dick's Sporting Goods and he steals the arrows or something and uses them to fight crime. But these are high-tech bombs, poison gas arrows, the trick arrows that would take some serious cash to produce. And when he was with Ollie, I could buy that Ollie used his money to make these arrows. But Red Arrow is not with Ollie anymore. This is maybe something I should just shut up about and go back to hating the rest of the show equally, but it really bothers me. Anyway, so Young Justice goes out to try and protect this scientist woman from the League of Shadows, when in reality, the world would be better off if this woman just died, since she just released a swarm of killer robots onto the world, and she insists that they are not a weapon. Next time, why not just snuff out the sun and insist that it is to prevent sunburn? The team is tripping over themselves because Artemis, which, can you blame them? If the Justice League wants this girl working out in the field, why not just let her work with the adults? Maybe then they would see that putting a girl who hasn't trained with the rest of the team is a bad idea. Martian Lady Hunter, who is no longer the female character that I hate the most, doesn't care for Artemis because Artemis wants to lick Superboy up and down or something like that. And Kid Flash, well, he has no reason to hate this woman as much as he does. He tries to blame her for Red Arrow leaving the team, but maybe he's just an idiot and he forgot that Red Arrow left like 5 episodes ago, and this lady only just showed up. It's all manufactured drama. It's there to give this episode the illusion of conflict, but in reality the conflict just feels fake and forced. I honestly would rather have a love triangle nonsense with Superboy, Artemis, and Martian Lady Hunter. Oh wait, I'm actually wishing that Martian Lady Hunter oogling Superboy was more heavily featured? Oh dang, that is bad. Basically, The episode ends when Cheshire, who is never named, brings other unnamed reinforcements to fight the Justice League Jr. I kinda like to know who the bad guys are in a superhero story, but apparently that's not important here. And I guess you could say that these guys aren't important because they're just like hired thugs who you wouldn't get to know the name of, but the League of Shadows is mentioned and they are named. But we don't know anything about the League of Shadows either, just that their names sound sinister and they are stealing technological secrets. You would probably have to go and watch the Christian Bale Batman movies to find out who these jokers are, because you won't find out here. And we also see that the mysterious heads who are the Light are actually ordering the League of Shadows around. Bum bum bum. That's actually a neat development, but since I don't know jack crap about the Light either, I just don't care. Did I mention that I don't care about anything in this episode? Why couldn't Greg Weisman have just done Aqualad the television show? He's the only character in this show that I'm remotely interested in because he doesn't strike me as an immature, arrogant butt munch. The episode comes to a close when Martian Lady Hunter tells Kid Flash that they need to end this fight. Oh, okay, so you mean the whole time you were fighting these bad guys you weren't actually trying? Because as soon as Martian Lady Hunter says it's time to get serious, they end it in like 2 seconds. Oh wow, I hate this show. Then the team decides to welcome Artemis to the team, and Martian Lady Hunter mentions her 12 sisters on Mars. And then, hold up, what? If Martian Lady Hunter has family on Mars, then why is she on Earth? Why is Jean on Earth? I am not a purist, really. If something happens in the comics, and then in an adaptation of the comics, either television or movies, you change that thing that happened in the comics, I am not, strictly speaking, opposed to this, as long as it works better than what you are changing from the comics. All of Mars being extinct, except for Martian Manhunter and a few white Martians, that was something that worked out really well in the comics. If you try to tinker with that and change it, you're going to have problems. The whole reason Martian Manhunter is on Earth is because he has nothing left for him on Mars. If there is a thriving society of Martians still alive and kicking, then what the heck are these two doing on Earth? Aw, comics kid, shut your mouth. You don't need to use your brain and actually think when watching this show. Anyway, so we find out that the Light has someone working for him on the inside of the team. I have already Googled around to find out who this is because I will not fall prey to this show's dirty tricks of trying to keep me from leaving this series. Yeah, I know, it's sad, but I can't keep pretending that this show will get better. From what I've seen, some of the ideas that come later in this series seem like cool ideas, but it should not take over 6 episodes for a series to get better. If this was a live-action show, I'd have dropped it if the first 6 episodes were nothing to write home about. Same here. I can safely say I at least gave this series a try, but it seems to me that sometimes the first impressions that you get from a show are to be trusted. At least for me and Young Justice, that's true. So if you have been interested in hearing me talk about this series, I'm sorry I could not keep going further. Maybe the show will get better, but with how much I hated everything I've seen so far, with the notable exception of the episode Drop Zone, I just don't think so. So if you were only listening to my videos and checking out my channel because of my reviews of Young Justice, I encourage you to stick around. I will continue to be reviewing episodes of Batman the Animated Series once every 2 weeks, and I will replace my reviews of Young Justice episodes with another animated superhero series, which you will find out which one in a few weeks. Next week, I will not be putting up a review of any cartoon, but I will instead be putting up a video that I've been working on in some form or another for a very long time. I hope you enjoy it. Until then, I'll see you guys throughout the week with other videos. Have a great rest of the weekend.